So I found this pop-up book about California. It has seen better days for sure. And it has some cool spreads. I like how they added this little side flap. But the one I found interesting was this one. I like how they use two folds and these parallel pieces to create this scene. So I decided to try something similar to that. So as usual, I started with a handmade version of that. And so here is my first attempt. So it has a couple of folds here. And then these two pieces are responsible for lifting this whole thing out of the page. And this one folds in a sort of zigzag fashion. When I had these working by hand, I actually added this other piece here. I thought it would be interesting to add something here in the back, as when you fold it like that, all this space needs to be taken up by this particular fold. So this gave me some extra things to work into that space. So my next version, once I had this one worked out, was to make a digital version, and this was that. But I wanted to maximize the amount of area I had to work with. That's why I made these panels sort of as big as I could. So this panel, when it folds flat, kind of almost reaches the edge of the page here. And then this is as tall as I could go, and still reaching the edge of the page and using the space in the back. So this one worked okay. I made a few mistakes, like the tabs weren't long enough. And so my second version, or my third version, that is, the digital one, was these. So I figured out the tabs a little better. I rounded these just to see what it looked like. And then I also was trying to figure out how long this could be. My first one just kind of popped out of the page. But as you can see, when it folds, it also gets close to the edge. So my fourth digital version was this one. And so I figured that these was covering too much of these pieces. So I lowered that. And then I thought it would be kind of more interesting to give it a kind of up and down situation. So that's why this point is a little lower. And here I started playing with the fold of this added piece, because it could fold forward like that, or it could have the pointing in. It seems like it stays pretty well once you decide what you want. And so at this point, I decided to draw some kind of interesting shapes so I could create a scene. So that's what happened here. Since I knew what was the maximum area that I could have, then I drew these shapes. I was thinking they would be like sort of plants or plant-like objects. And then I drew this kind of tree-lobed shape all around using the available area, and including back here with these characters. And then at this point I thought it looked kind of cool, like an interesting scene of plant-like things. So then I went in and started drawing these characters. So once I started putting the eyes on these little lobes, I figured it'd be fun if all the eyes were looking at a central thing that would kind of draw your attention here. So that's why I also added a little eye in the center of that. And I figured they would all be looking at a sort of sleeping creature. So it would be like a forest scene. What I didn't like here is that the sleeping creature would be covered by this character. And another thing I added was these seem kind of awkward. So this image, I figured it would match that eye a little better. So that's the final version that I did, which is this one. So I moved the creature around. I rotated it about 90 degrees so it wouldn't be covered by these elements. And I also drew this eye so it would match a sort of 90-degree And I think it creates a kind of funny looking scene of all these eyes kind of looking at the center, directing your attention there. I also moved the eyes on these ones so they would be looking down compared to the previous one. And I think that's the scene for this one. I hope you like it, and thank you so much for watching.